Alright, he is back. Maybe I'm just trying too hard. Although I say that, it doesn't help take the edge off, and the words are left echoing off in my empty walls. I guess it's not as bad as I expected. Though, this place really is more a school and less a hospital, pretending it's a school than I thought it would be. Nothing else, the scenery is beautiful. Open one eye, seeing the school books and bottles of pills arranged side by side on my desktop. Maybe this place is too much like a normal school after all. Katawa Shoujo, Katawa Shoujo, Katawa Shoujo. I feel very tired this morning, probably because yesterday was a very tiring day. On top of that, I woke up far earlier than necessary. After saying hi to Shizune and Misha, I start doing the work as instructed from the board. It already looks like today is going to be heavy. I don't have a problem with that though. Shizune and Misha jump on me, trying to get an answer about whether or not I've decided to join student council, even if it's just one day. Wait. Oh, might. Okay. I wouldn't put it past them to try. I don't have an answer for them if they do, so this situation is convenient for me. About 10 minutes into class, Hanako walks in and takes a seat, but no one looks at her. The teacher doesn't even comment on her lateness. He does, however, stop us to say that we're going to break into groups again. I turn my head and see that Shizune and Misha are looking at me. Shizune gives me a smile that is equal parts cute and menacing. This is a smile that says, "We have you now. There is no escape." Hey Chan, it looks like we're together again. Yay, yay! Misha leans sideways while Shizune pushes her desk closer to mine. There really is no escape now unless I were to jump through the window. Jumping out the window isn't the best option, sadly. What's wrong, Hichan? Oh, Hichan, have you been thinking about what you said yesterday? You said you would think about joining the student council, didn't you? It's okay, Hichan. We were talking about it after you left, and it would be rude to expect you to join, or you to have an answer for us this early, right? Right? Ha 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 ha! I'm so happy you two are able to have a laugh at my expense, and even more pleased to know that you both know how crazy the two of you can be. Now that that's over, Shizune snaps back into serious mode and smacks today's assignment with the back of her hands in an overly dramatic and important way. When I actually look at the stuff, I'm mostly just reading. It's mostly just reading. In fact, there are only 2 questions. I almost want to say something about how her rush to start seems a bit much, considering the small amount of work. The fact Shizune probably knows how little there is and simply doesn't care. Yeah, it seems like the workload doesn't matter to her as much as the fact that there is work. The actual amount is unimportant. She approaches everything with the same level of ambition. While I'm reading, I let my eyes wander around the room and catch Hanako trying her hand at solving the problems. It looks like she's working alone. I can't remember seeing her working with other people before. Thinking back to how shy she is, it's understandable. Hey, that girl over there. Huh? Who, Hichan? Her, Hanako, over there. Does she always work alone? I think so, Hichan. Do you feel sorry for her because she's alone? I was just thinking that maybe she could work with us or something. No, I don't think that would be a good idea, Hichan. Why not? Hichan doesn't get along with her. Wouldn't get along with her. Why? Misha shuffles around the question, letting out a laugh. That sounds very strange. It's nervous, but still has the lilting up and down quality present in everything she says. Just because, Hichan. By now, Shizune has noticed our conversation, and it makes me realize again how Misha has been sounding everything she has been saying this whole time. What, Hichan? The friend of my enemy is my enemy? That sounds so harsh. I'm not going to say that. You said it anyways. I know, Hichan. It's fine if you overhear. I wonder if this is Misha's way of keeping things fair, since without her I wouldn't be able to understand a thing Shizune is saying, and vice versa. Is that also why she signs all the time, so there's never a conversation Shizune will be left out of? Anyway, we should start on the problems now, Hichan. We finished with time to spare, and I decided to ask if there are any alternatives to cafeterias. Frankly, the food so far has been subpar. This sends Shizune and Misha arguing among themselves about their favorite restaurants. All of them are downtown, so I don't think we have time to go all the way there. And what about the bill? Are they arguing just for the fun of it? Maybe. They seem so distracted by it. They don't even notice the start of actual lunch break. Ugh, excuse me, I had to burp. I looked over my shoulder toward the back of the classroom. She seems to be studying her notes from the previous class. It's an odd sight. Everyone else in the class is busying themselves with the lunch break, socializing, gossiping, rearranging desks. The ones with actual boxed lunch mixed in and chattering like everyone else, only interrupted by short bouts eating. Ugh. No hiccups. But when I watch Hanako, it feels that I'm the only one who can see her. Almost as if she was invisible, sort of hiding in plain sight. Is she being bullied? Is she isolating herself from the rest of the class on her own accord? I see her look over her shoulder towards the classroom's rear door. Come to think of it, she hasn't turned a page since I've started watching her. I guess she's waiting for someone. What to do? Read my book, go talk with Hanako. Which one did I do before? Or are these different because it's different? Read my book. I do what I always do when I don't know what to do. Like now. I've already started on one of my books I borrowed yesterday and took it with me to school to fill the empty moments between classes. I find the page that I creased the corner of and I skipped the rest on accident because I'm like, I know this. Up to the mark of this spot I left yesterday night and pick it up from there. Misha and Shizune are still arguing heatedly. Probably about restaurants still. If I join them, I just get caught up in that, or worse, get grilled about joining student council. Misha isn't speaking aloud since there is nobody who'd need to hear what they are talking about. But why does she tend to decide things even when Shizune doesn't need to understand what's being said? Or even more strangely, when Shizune is not around at all. What an odd conflict of habits. I find it hard to focus on the book, and besides, the lunch break beckons me to leave the dullness of the classrooms. I do so, heading down to the cafeteria. Misha and Shizune, having come to the conclusion of one kind or another, follow me and wake through, though still talking in their animated fashion. And the past love of my life. Just around the corner of the hallway, something hits me in the chest with the force of a runaway train. Ouch. Yay, Emmy! We aren't going to see much of you. Opening my eyes, I see a pair of saucer-like green eyes looking up at me. They belong to a perpetrator, a short girl who bumped into me and now has fallen down on the hallway floor. She wears a PE uniform. Man, I want to go to this school. This is what they wear for PE. Jesus Christ. Anyways, in a very worried frown, the former strikes me as a rather strange thing to have on during a lunch break. More striking than that, though, is she doesn't have legs. Or she does, but they are not flesh and bone. Her pale and very much flesh and bone thighs end in shins, and feet made of some black metallic or plastic-like material. They look disturbingly artificial and natural, and almost makes me forget that my chest is hurting. The girl winces a little, rubs her nose, and jumps up. Aw, man, hey, are you alright? I'm sorry about that, really. I was looking where I was going, and you just came out of nowhere. Sorry. She's looking really apologetic in the hurt puppy way of looking apologetic. I quickly forget about being angry or anything, since hurt puppies are my weak spot. It's okay, don't worry about it. Ouch. I say that, but there's a stinging pain growing in my chest, and I know this is the biggest possible danger for my condition. Don't overexert yourself, don't forget your medication, and most of all, don't get hit in the chest. Dun dun. I try to rub my solar plexus to chase the pain away, holding my breath in an attempt to hear my heartbeat. It seems normal. Hey, should I get a nurse? The weird, high-pitched voice of the girl snaps me out of it. I stare at her for a few seconds, dumbfounded, until I realize I probably looked worse than I really was, doubled over myself, looking at all tense. Damn, I'm overly worried about my heart. No need, I'm fine. Managing to say something in response, I pull myself upright, feeling my sore ribs one last time, and take a deep breath. She just knocked the wind out of me, big time, but it's nothing more than that. You sure you're okay? I hit you pretty hard. It's okay, I said I was fine, and Nothing's broken. No harm done. That's good. I feel a hand on my shoulder at the same time. The girl's eyes wide in horror. Yeah. Beep! I don't have time to look behind me because Shizune is already shoving me aside, stomping over to the girl, signing furiously at her. Miss Barzaki! Thank God I'm not going to have to say this much more. I saw that. Running in the hall is strictly forbidden. Misha translates right on Shizune's tail, but her voice is girlishly playful, not full of the divine fury Shizune's arm movements would seem to call for. Sorry, I was just going to get some stuff and I was in kind of a hurry. You've been told this 1,000 times before. Your reckless behavior endanges other students. Even worse, it's explicitly against school regulations. The girl blushes and starts to fidget nervously like a little child caught misbehaving. It's so cute I find myself smiling. I know that. I was just... Make sure that this will not happen again. Although I'm sure telling you this is futile and only causes me further headache when you choose to ignore the regulations. Got that, Emmy? The small girl sticks her tongue out in response. I gotta go. Teacher will have my head. I promised to help with printouts, but I went running instead. Sorry, I forgot to change and everything. Before Misha and Shizune or I can say anything, she's already bolted from where she was a second ago, almost halfway towards the stairwell. Shizune looks like she's about to go nuclear on the spot, so I smile at her in a vain attempt to calm her down. Are you okay, Hichan? That Ibarazaki girl is always like that, causing trouble to others. You know, I'm pretty certain Shizune wouldn't call me Hichan. Never mind. Ellipsis. Yeah, anyway, okay. Just got the wind knocked out of me. That's great, Hichan. I wouldn't call that great, but I let it slide this one time. We have to run now. There's an important student council meeting regarding the festival, and we've finally decided where to eat. Too bad you can't join, but this lunch meeting is only for council members. We can take you there some other time. Oh, but that'd be like a date, wouldn't it? Wahahaha! Well, that would probably be the point, since I'm going for Shizune, I think. Or Lily. I don't know! The girls leave for downstairs. I didn't manage to get far from the third floor hallway before all this commotion struck. Literally. I should get going as well. The lunch and the afternoon class pass uneventfully. I read most of the book I had started yesterday and eat some of the mostly inedible offerings of the cafeteria. The class is tiresome. The teacher seems like an okay person despite the weird first impression I got, and the material is relatively interesting. However, the way he teaches is really bizarre, as if he expects that everyone is a natural genius. When the final bell sounds, I realize that there's still a lot of time left in the day, and I'm wondering what to do. It's odd, at the hospital I had 24 hours a day of free time, but here, filling the considerably shorter hours feels difficult. Everyone else leaves, and I'm left alone with the teacher. Matao is examining the assignment sheets we were working on earlier, marking them with a red ball pen. Raising his eyes from his poppers, I almost said poppers. Holy shit. Papers briefly. He notices me and furrows his brow. What is it, Nikai? I jump at him addressing me, but I guess it's natural to spark some conversation since there is no one else around. Nothing. Think about what I'd do after school. Can't talk. The teacher slowly puts the cap of the pen he is holding and arranges his papers in a stack, clacking it against the desk twice. He seems very methodical, and for a brief moment I'm reminded of Shizune, but the teacher is more unhurried and relaxed, much more routine. You have no plans? No, I considered joining a club. I don't know what club would interest me. Go observe a meeting of someone else's club. Might pique your interest. I guess. But I don't know how to continue from there. Mitao looks at me in a way that makes me quickly want to take the words back to avoid a conversation. But I can't, so I have to forge ahead. I just don't know how to deal with people. I mean, the other students. I'm talking to people and everything. So it's not like I'd be isolated or anything. I just don't know what to think about the disabilities. It's like, it feels like I'm being impolite if I pay attention to them, and it's weird to ignore them. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. The teacher scratches his cheek absent-mindedly, looking very unresponsive. These things are only an issue if you make them one. You can talk normally with someone, even if they are blind or something. Try to look behind the superficial. There's not a single student here who isn't just a normal kid being behind whatever they might seem at first glance. He says the same thing as Yuko did. I know they're right, but it's hard. How can you not consider, for example, Shizune's deafness when the only way to communicate with her is to talk through Misha? Or Hanako. It's not like you can ignore her face. But I'm interrupted by the door of the classroom suddenly slamming open. Teacher! Misha crashes in, hands straight in an enthusiastic greeting, her voice loud and lively enough to wake the dead from their graves. She starts towards the teacher's desk with her bouncing step, hands energetically swinging with the rhythm. Matao, visibly dismayed at the interruption, and Misha in general, slumps in his chair. Mikado. Misha stops in her tracks and looks around cluelessly, as if she's sensing from his tone that something's wrong, but has no idea what. Yes. We have talked about volume control before. Yeah. But she didn't lower her voice at all, and the teacher just rubs his eyes. So what is it? We need help. We are running out of supplies for the festival stands. This is a stress. She wears a pink slip of paper she's holding around. So go get more supplies from the art room. What's the problem with that? Plywood. Plywood is always a problem. Last time we wanted more. There was only a little, but that time we just took it all and went with it. Now there's like none left there. So do you know where there is some? I don't understand. How would I know? Shi-chan, I mean the president, thought that a teacher would know if there is plywood. Was she wrong? Mattel looks like he is in great pain, frowning with his entire essence, and Misha doesn't get it at all. Looking at the two of them communicate is horrible, or terrible. Like looking at a man being tortured by drilling his skull open with a blasting pop music at full volume at the same time. I'm afraid I have no idea if there's any plywood in the school, let alone where it would be if there was any. Aw, what should I do? Perhaps try to find Mr. Nomiya? I'm quite sure he would know where to find everything you need. You'd have to pry them from his cold, dead hands, but that's a different matter. I don't have time. We are so busy. She holds her head with both her hands, looking at as despairing as it's possible for a person like her. Without even noticing, she crumples the note she's holding between her hair. Against her hair. I shouldn't even be fetching these things. There's so much to do, and we are falling behind the schedule. Mattel looks at her gravely, then suddenly smiles. Smiling doesn't really fit his face. I think it'd be better if he didn't. What a dick. I think he looks just fine. I wonder if you could get some temporary help. He switches, staring at me focusedly, with a hard expression as if saying, go make some friends. Ellipsis. I guess I could give you a hand. You can? Thanks, Chan. You are really nice. She pauses, does a double take, then points at me with her finger, yelping, ah! Looking very puzzled. Come to think of it, what's Chan doing here? The class is over. You should be having fun. We just had a little chat. Oh no. It's not detention, is it? Are you in trouble, Hichan? No, I'm not. Is Hichan in trouble, teacher? No, he's not. Matao sighs deeply, and I feel that I have to help Misha to get her off the teacher's back. So, what do you need? Here's a list. I can try to find the plywood from somewhere if there's none in the art room. She offers me the note she's holding. I take it, hesitating a bit. I said I'd help you, but this has no implications on whether I'm joining the council or not. Aww. Still, thanks to Chan. Try to be quick. We are in a stall building streak now. We must hurry, hurry, hurry. She bounces out of the classroom, leaving me and the teacher looking at each other with something that feels like a silent agreement. Well, there you have it, Nakai. You have something to do now. Please don't sound so smug. Looking at the list with a number of items ranging from paint to plywood, all written in with small, neat handwriting that is undoubtedly Shizune's, I heave a sigh. I'll be going then. Waving the long list limply at the teacher, I exit to the hallway. The classroom's closet closest to ours are designated belonging to classrooms 3-1 and 3-2 on the right side and 3-4 on the left side, each door looking exactly the same. Further down the corridor, still with identical doors, are rooms that I don't think were used for classes. I guess the art room is not a classroom as such. I carefully push open the furthest door and peek in. It's a classroom, but it seems rather badly kept and not in use. Am I in the right place? Desks and chair all around the room. A thin layer of dust settled on them. There are some easels in the corner, so at least it looks like the right place. The room is flushed in sunlight from the big window, shadows creeping over the desks. Specks of dust are dancing in the stagnant air, making the beams of light almost visible. Jokingly, I call into the empty room. Anybody? Something catches my eye and I stop mid-sentence. Intro to Written. Sitting on a desk, a short-haired girl, curiously wearing a boy's uniform with a fork between her toes, a morsel of food stuck firmly on the end. The odd way of dining seems to have caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me aback even more. How did I miss her before? She's sitting in the corner very still, but I still somehow took her as part of the furnishing, or a statue at first glance. My throat is on fire! I'm not being too observant today as a whole. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes like a rabbit in headlights. She's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. I'm staring at her, my mouth wide open. Suddenly remember I didn't finish my sentence and trying to think of what I should. This weird stalemate keeps us both shunned into silence, punctuated only by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. Hello. The girl stuffs a forkful in her mouth and is now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello, I was told to pick up some supplies from here. For some festival stalls, I think. I didn't think there would be someone here. There isn't. That's why I came here too. She picks up another forkful. Yeah, forkful. Doesn't that mean you're here then? She raises her eyebrows as if she was suspecting my observations were false. You're pretty observant, I guess it does, but who are you? This girl is pretty straightforward, isn't she? I'm Nakai, Hisao Nakai. I just transferred in on Monday. I'm Rin. Tezuka Rin. Rin Tezuka. I would shake hands with you, but at least... I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are now. That's very nice. Her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. Look at that stoned smile there. It kind of bothers me joking about these matters doesn't seem to feel appropriate at all. Well, I'm trying to figure out what's appropriate, whether the girl is... She seems to lost interest in me, is now gazing yearningly back at her food. Can I continue my lunch if you don't mind? If you don't mind me, I won't mind you. If you need to get your stuff, and the supplies are at the back. Go right ahead, but lunch? School's already over for the day. What word would you use then? There's no word for a meal you eat after lunch but before dinner, right? It bothers me very much too, but I don't really know what I should say. I don't think you're supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with. But I'm hungry now, and my delicious boxed lunch would go to waste otherwise. I have curry. It's very delicious. With much decisiveness, Rin once again picks up the fork between her toes, and with at least as much politeness, she points it straight at me. So, Nakai, what brings you to this place? Like I said, I was told to look for these things. No, the school. From the outside, you look fine. Is your problem inside? I've come to a full stop, opening my mouth, but not getting a word out. I can guess. I am good at guessing. Better than most people. Rin cuts me off before I can answer her question. Or skirt around it, somehow. I don't know which I would have done. I froze in front of this issue again. I haven't ever even told anyone here about my condition, or maybe it's only because it hasn't really come up. I do get the feeling that not making issues of this is a part of the social code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if the teacher really here could relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to Shizune's circumstances or Lily's either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Rin keeps considering what my condition could be, with an overly contemplative look on her face. She puts a fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer was written up there. A beam of light illuminates her face from the window side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other side. I don't think it's anything in your head, and something in your guts would be boringly ordinary, like this lunch of mine, and less delicious. The problem must be in your pants. This messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement and the sheer lack of tact it has delivered with catches me completely off guard. I think I might have reeled back even physically as Rin's eyes widen in revelation and astonishment. So I was right. There's something wrong with your tackle, isn't it, there? Still partially in shock, but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit out the first thing I can think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem. Arrhythmia. Ellipsis. I said it. More like blurted it out, but I said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glowers at me, looking very disappointed. How boring. Trouble in the pants would have been much more scandalous. What's with this reaction? I'm sorry to let you down. I forgive you. Just, I collect people, and a person with, that kind of problem really would have been great. Would have been really great. Collect people and drinky time. Okay. Collect people? People with different problems. Huh, so you just, go around asking people what's wrong with them? Pretty much. I see. Ellipsis. There's little left to say. Rin resumes her lunch, and the conversation dies away. But I keep thinking about what was said. It's the first time I told anyone else about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already, or heard about it from someone else. Or didn't need to know about it, like other students here so far. Should I have told it as a natural part of introductions? Is it expected of me? Hi, I'm Hisao. I have a very serious heart condition. Is that how I'm supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? As if our disabilities would define us? What a disgusting thought. Or maybe this Tezuka girl just has an unnatural interest in such thing. Ding ding ding, right answer right there. So I walk to the back of the room and pick up the items on Misha's list. A chance opens to study Rin from the corner of my eye. Her hair is burnt auburn, almost orange and cropped short. Long hair would be pretty impossible with no arms. The boy's uniform and the lack of arms would make her look very thin, almost scrawny. She is not particularly pretty, except for her murky green eyes, which flicker restfully from below her short bangs, and even when she eats. The distance and shadows make it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb all of it within them, like deep wells. She moves her feet almost deftly as a normal person would use their arms. However, I can see how this sight could discomfort people, especially while eating. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, at least. I need more water. I'll be right back. I'm back. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural. But it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabins and shelves for Misha's things, but after enough time passes, silence grows too uncomfortable. So I try to force some conversation out of this strange girl. So, do you always eat alone? And this late? Or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors. Maybe you're my first occasional visitor. But I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof, if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Oh. That's all I could think of to say. Both of us fall silent again as Rin forks the last bits of her meal to her mouth. I even look down at my wallet and double check it with Misha's list. It seems I have everything except plywood. So I think I'll have all the things now. That's very nice for you. Don't feel obligated day. I was about to take a nap anyway. You need to do whatever you're going to do with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you like to watch girls sleeping. You like to watch girls sleeping. Oh, yeah, that made sense. I'm not sure what to make of this, but Rin looks serious. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. I'll catch you later, Shizuka. You can call me Rin. I feel that our relationship is at this point good enough to warrant this much. I was already turning to make my exit, but she drops me back in. Fine then, I'm Hisao. Then you are. Ellipsis. Rin looks at me hard in the eyes, but that intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple times, and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped up between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hisao. There's something like a tiny smile there in her face, maybe. I quietly back out of the room. As I shut the door in front of my face, I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-song voice. I heard that... What did she hear? I jump at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow she had gotten to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about global feminist conspiracy, but I push that thought aside. You should burn that thought. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited. No, wait, more importantly, who is in there? There's no club meetings today. She tries to curiously peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took so long that we had to come check what's wrong. There's no good, Hichan. She wags her finger at me, scolding. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you are tardy. Oh, sorry, I got things here. We was just going to bring them. I think you were up to some mischief, Hichan. Who was in there with you, I wonder? Misha signed something quickly to Shizune, pointing at her own ear a couple of times. Shizune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she is experiencing. With Shizune's diligence and attitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by slipping on top of it must be too much for her to bear. And indeed, she stares at Rin, frozen in place apart from slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders. From suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning to sign furiously at Misha. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me, too, as if somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the recent reason of tardiness. Hello!